Hello and welcome back to another video on the Wrestling's Way and to another edition of NXT Out of 10. A big show today. Obviously it's all of the fallout from War Games, which is a very interesting show. We got big heel turns from Wagner, obviously the two War Games matches, but yeah, I mentioned that heel turn with Wagner because of course we got the steel cage match to start off with. OReilly attacked Wagner during his entrance and dragged him into the cage before slamming it shut, and he had the early advantage, and Wagner hit a slice down but went back down as KOR unloaded on him. Wagner recovered and took Carl around the ring. After a break, OReilly had a guillotine locked in, but Wagner countered into a vertical suplex. OReilly got a near fall off a knee strike, but before Wagner caught him with a low blow, Wagner slammed Kyle into the cage before hitting his finisher to pick up the win. After the match, Wagner hung OReilly upside down on the ropes facing the cage and slammed it in his face. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. This was a really good showing for Von Wagner. Obviously, it seems like it's the end for Kyle O'Reilly, which is a shame, but honestly, I'd rather see him in AEW, and Jarrett put Von Wagner over. So yeah, this is a good start. Before Joe Gacy had a short promo and said that Harlan would make his in-ring debut next week before Braun Breaker was out next and called out Tommaso Ciampa and challenged him to a rematch. Diamond Mine interrupted his promo and congratulated the winner at War Games. Vivian said that Strong had wiped out the entire cruiserweight division. Since the weightlifters are now being lifted, Strong would like to challenge Breaker. Breaker accepted the challenge and walked out as the Creed brothers headed for their upcoming match. Yeah, this was a decent promo, but I do worry that the cruiserweight title is becoming a bit meaningless. I mean, like, it's been meaningless for ages, but you know, the weight limit being scrapped, yeah, I'm just not a fan. Before we did move on to Briggs and Jensen versus the Creed brothers, the match was about to begin as Imperium came out to watch from the balcony. Briggs and Jensen had the early advantage as Brutus Creed was isolated. The Creeds then got the advantage after Julius tagged in and Brutus managed to send Jensen over the ropes. Julius hit a big suplex on the outside before GYV were at ringside and stole Jensen's tag rope, meaning that Briggs couldn't legally tag in. Briggs took a beating from the Creed, but still managed to roll out the Brutes for the win. Yeah, I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. It was a decent enough match. For me, the right result, and it did also add a little bit of storyline in there for the tag team titles. So yeah, good stuff. But Duke Hudson was up next on NXT in a wig and tried to pass it off as his own hair. Good one, mate. Hudson said Cameron Grimes was a disappointment. Grimes made his entrance. Cameron reminded us of what really happened at War Games before Hudson said he cheated to win. Grimes challenged Hudson to a no-holds-barred match, and Duke agreed before attacking Grimes. Grimes chased him out of the ring and looked to rip his wig off, but it didn't work. Yeah, this is a really good promo. Cameron Grimes is just so great, and the Duke Hudson wig stuff, it was kind of funny, to be fair. So yeah, on the whole, this is a decent promo, and I'm looking forward to the No Holds Barred rematch. Before GYV got in a fight with Jacket Time after their plan to mess with Briggs and Jensen failed, and in the parking lot, Grayson Waller was trying to impress a lady, but she already had a date with LA Knight as they drove off in a little car. Yeah, good stuff. Before we got Dexter Loomis versus Carmelo Hayes. Loomis had an early advantage and sent Hayes into the ring post before ripping off the bandages from the ribs. Loomis went outside to scare Trick as Melo snuck up. Back in the ring, Melo hit a forearm off the ropes for a near fall. Hayes attacked Loomis' injured arm to rip his gloves. After a break, Melo was in control of the match. Loomis recovered and reversed Melo's finisher but got a big sequence. Trick tried to interfere and landed a punch on Loomis as the referee called for the DQ. However, Dexter got the silence in on Williams to pick up the win. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. The match was really fun, but I'm just not a fan of the DSQ finish. But you know, it is what it is. But I'll give it a 6 out of 10. MSK was on NXT 2.0 with the tag team shaman, and it was Riddle from Raw. MSK asked what they needed to do from here on in, having accomplished everything on NXT. Riddle said that they would reach the top of the division once more and that he would be there with them. Interesting, didn't see where this coming, but yeah, intriguing to see where this goes. Before we got Toxic Attraction versus Feroz and Leon. Jane and Feroz kicked off the match, and Leon was tagged in early as Jane was being isolated. Dolan came in and got the advantage before Feroz got a close call with Dolan as the match continued. Jane then knocked Ferron off the apron before hitting her finisher on Feroz for the 3 count. Yeah, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Nothing too special to this match. It basically was just a little squash match, but you know, it was fine. We also got a little bit of afterwards with Mandy Rose putting out an open challenge and Cora Jade walked out. Mandy said that she wasn't ready for one, and Raquel Gonzalez came out of a steel chair and drove Toxic Attraction out of the ring. Stephanie Stratton got another promo before Tony D'Angelo was in a backstage interview on NXT. Andre Chase came in to give him advice on why they ended up scheduling his match. Before Jaden Gonzalez got into an argument. Before Kaylee Ray gave Cora her baseball bat to defend herself. Just kind of round out that women's segment. It was all very weird, but I'll just give it time to see where it goes. Before you got Joanne Quinn versus Santos Escobar. Quinn and Escobar went after each other right off the bat, and the former took down Santos with a big move. Escobar managed to come back with his knee strike and sent Quinn to the outside. After a break, Quinn was back in control and got a near fall on Escobar as he dodged an elbow strike and got a pop-up salmon drop. On the ropes, Escobar dodged a big move and hit a Hurricane Rana before Lopez put brass knuckles in Quinn's hand, and Wild was on the apron to run a distraction. Quinn tossed the knuckles at Wild and took him out. Escobar took advantage of the distraction and hit a knee strike and finished off his opponent with a phantom driver. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I was debating between 6 and 7 out of 10. I just thought maybe it was a tiny bit too low for a 7, but this is a really, really fun match, no real complaints. In the parking lot, Malcolm Bivens and Dynamite got into an argument. Chickamelo, who was the bigger champ on NXT, Carmelo Hayes or Roderick Strong. Interesting argument actually, but one for another day. Before Johnny Gargano was out next and the crowd was cheering on, Gargano said that he was worried if his performance was good enough and recalled being rejected in 2015. He thanked William Regal for allowing him to wrestle in a dark match where the crowd chanted his name. He thanked the backstage crew and everyone he'd worked with. Gargano said he was unsure of his future and would be focused on being a dad. Grayson Waller then attacked him in the middle of his promo and hit him with a steel chair before sending him into steel sets with chairs around his neck. Waller sent Gargano through the announcer's desk before NXT went off the air. And this was a really, really good ending. Just leaves that little bit of doubt. Will he leave? Won't he leave? Is he going to have a feud with Grayson Waller? But one thing it did do is really put Grayson Waller over. So for me, this was done really well and still adds a little bit of doubt. So this was really good stuff. Overall this week, NXT gets a 6 out of 10 from me. Really enjoyed this episode of NXT. I was debating whether to go with a 6 or a 7. Just went for a 6 in the end. But on the whole, it's a really, really strong episode of NXT. And hopefully they can keep building on this after the pay-per-view. But anyway guys, that's it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Make me your thoughts, comments, down below. Follow me on Twitter, thanks very much for daily wrestling news. And subscribe to my channel on the screen. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.